5 News at Noon starts now.
Well, right now at noon, the federal shutdown hits home. Arkansas farmers warn rising costs and stalled aid could shut down generations-old family farms. Plus, historic Category 5 Hurricane Melissa slams Jamaica. Residents evacuate as dangerous flooding and storm surge threaten the island. And thank you for joining us on your 5 News at Noon. I'm Jacob Luthi alongside Joshua Weisel. Right there during that, we heard a little bit of thunder.
Oh, yeah.
A gloomy day. It kind of fits the mood for this week, right? Halloween week.
Oh, yes. So it's fitting. It's going to be clear for Halloween, though. So we're getting all that gloomy weather out of the way before then. But we've got a lot to talk about now. And I'm sure if you did hear a little rumble there right as we were going on air, of course, there's not a whole lot of lightning in our area. But there's this one little cell in northwest Arkansas. And very close to the station, you can see there's just one little rumble of thunder right there. Just so happened to be right outside. So there's a look at what we got northwest Arkansas. We do have some of these showers out there that are moving through and a little bit of thunder too. Now, earlier in the River Valley, we did have a little bit more lightning activity, as you can see there. But right now, not as much in terms of that lightning. But as you heard, I can't rule out lightning the remainder of this afternoon. The other thing to talk about, just issued right before the noon, we do have a wind advisory in effect until right around 1 o'clock tomorrow. And the winds are going to kick up later this afternoon and this evening, but it's really going to get a little bit worse overnight into early tomorrow. And we're going to see sustained winds 15 to 30, wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour cannot be ruled out. We've been talking about that the last couple of days here. The wind potential with this system as it moves through, the temperatures are going to feel comfortable today, but we're going to see a little bit more of that temperature drop by the time we get into the next couple of days, as well as continuing rain chances today into tomorrow. So I'll have more on that. Here's a look at that hourly forecast real quick. We got rain chances pretty much all day today, a little bit cooler overnight. And then we're going to be dealing with some rain, some wind, and I'll have more details on that coming up.
Thanks, Joshua. Well, 2 students in northwest Arkansas were hit by cars in separate incidents this morning. Both are expected to be okay. Bentonville Public Schools tells us a Brightfield Elementary School student was hit by a car while riding their bike to school. A district spokesperson tells us the student was not seriously hurt, but was taken to the hospital as a precaution. And in Fayetteville, police say a 10-year-old student was crossing the street in a crosswalk when their foot was run over by a car. The child's injuries were minor, and officers cited the driver for failing to yield. Officials have not released further details, but we'll keep you updated as more information becomes available. These incidents come just weeks after another Bentonville elementary student was hit by a car. And the government shutdown is now in its 28th day. Airport disruptions continued Monday around the U.S. with nearly 7,000 flights delayed, according to the website FlightAware. It's mostly due to staffing shortages as essential employees like air traffic controllers miss work during the shutdown. Today, many essential airport workers are expected to miss their first full paychecks with no end in sight for the shutdown stalemate. Meanwhile, the shutdown still has many who work in agriculture at a standstill, unable to access federal help. For some farmers in Arkansas, that means facing the possibility of closing farms that have been in families for generations. Richard Helms runs Helms Dairy Farm in Arkadelphia. He says the rising costs of materials and labor have left the farm millions in debt and on the brink of foreclosure. He says on a farm, everything has a cost.
The normal person can't comprehend how much money it takes to operate a farm. Just because you have a lot doesn't mean you have a lot to live on. This administration didn't cause it, and the last one didn't either. It's just been something that's been snowballing.
Helms also emphasized if farmers across the state face bankruptcy, it could signal the end of more family farms, not just here in Arkansas, but across the country. And Hurricane Melissa is slamming Jamaica today. It's a Category 5, the strongest storm ever known to hit the island. With winds up to 170 miles an hour, the hurricane has been extremely slow moving. Forecasters expected it to make landfall overnight, but it is still churning just south of the island and now expected to hit around noon today. Jason Allen is in Jamaica's capital, Kingston, with how people there are preparing for the worst.
Pretty gusty, pretty windy.
Jamaica's shoreline is being overwhelmed with winds gusting more than 60 miles per hour, dangerous flooding, and storm surge projected up to 13 feet as Hurricane Melissa thrashes the island. Inside the storm Monday, hurricane hunters from NOAA were forced to abort their data collecting mission because of severe turbulence. This video shows what crews were able to capture before the scrapped flight. On the ground, mandatory evacuations forced hundreds into shelters.
We're all buttoned down and locked up. The thing that concerns us the most is mostly just the wind and the rain.
Those dangerous conditions closed Jamaica's airports when Melissa was approaching, leaving many vacationers stranded until the historic storm passes through the Caribbean.
We're trying to be as prepared as we can.
Bridget and Wayne Todd are in Jamaica on their honeymoon. The North Carolina couple has experienced hurricanes in the U.S. before, but say those are no match for Melissa.
We've never had one to this level. My biggest concern is really just the damage it'll do afterwards and us being stranded out here for possible weeks.
Yeah, when this storm just skirted by Haiti and the Dominican Republic, at least 4 people were killed. This one's going to make direct impact on Jamaica. And we know in the days leading up to the storm, the government has said already they know of 3 deaths that are related to this. That was mostly from people who were out cutting trees or trying to remove tree limbs. And there were many people injured falling off of rooftops in preparation for this storm. They are telling people right now, even in Kingston, where the wind is down and the rain is down right now, stay inside until this storm passes by the island. Jason Allen, CBS News in Kingston, Jamaica.
An Arkansas woman and her friend are stuck in Jamaica. Authorities are moving residents and tourists to safer buildings, including resort shelters. Paisley Crunchfield says she and other visitors are staying in one designated area at their resort, adjusting to the unexpected delay and uncertainty.
They boarded up all the other restaurants. They are now evacuating us to one particular area in the resort, but 10 o'clock is the latest that they want us to be here, and we're not allowed to leave until they let us.
Once the storm passes, they plan to leave safely and make their way back home to Arkansas. And in the River Valley, an Indiana man is facing charges in connection to a deadly crash on the Midland Bridge between Van Buren and Fort Smith. 45-year-old Christopher Hamilton is accused of negligent homicide. According to an arrest affidavit, Hamilton told police he forgot the road across the Midland Bridge was for two-way traffic and hit Landon Young, who was driving a motorcycle. The crash happened back in April. Court documents state Hamilton was going nearly 60 miles per hour when the speed limit there is 40. Police say Hamilton was in Sebastian County for work at the time of the crash. He's due back in court on Wednesday morning. And a man known for playing bagpipes around Fayetteville is back behind bars. Police say Devin Toff was arrested over the weekend on another rape charge, his second time facing the same accusation this year. Court records show 25-year-old Toff was first arrested in early September and pleaded not guilty to a rape charge. He was released on bond with orders to avoid the alleged victim and not possess weapons or drugs. Over the weekend, police say they were called to a welfare check after reports that Toff wouldn't let his girlfriend leave. Investigators say the woman told them she was afraid after seeing guns in the home and reported being assaulted. Officers later arrested him. His bond is set at $75,000 with a court date on November 19th. And the Washington County Courthouse is giving an update on the backlog of cases working through the judicial process. Due to the backlog, the trial of Zachary Clark is being pushed to next year. He's accused of shooting and killing another person in Fayetteville. An even older case, one involving a child victim, is being moved to Clark's original trial date. Washington County Prosecutor Brandon Carter says cases involving child victims take priority. He told 5 News in July that the court was still working through a backlog of cases dating back to COVID. Carter says that backlog is almost cleared up.
There continues to be a small backlog, and I think it'll take the rest of this calendar year to get through it. You know, so far this calendar year, as of this month, we've closed more cases in 2025 through October than we did all of 2024.
Overcrowding continues to be a problem at Washington County Jail. To hear how Sheriff Jay Cantrell says they're working around that, look for this story on the 5 News app. And a new Oklahoma law has taken effect in November. It bans drivers from holding cell phones in school and work zones. The law strengthens the state's distracted driving rules by limiting handheld phone use in high-risk areas. Drivers may use hands-free devices under the new law. Violations will carry the same penalties as Oklahoma's texting while driving ban. And President Trump wrapped up his stop in Japan, announcing a new trade deal, new investments in the U.S. economy, and speaking to sailors and Marines stationed in Japan. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Trump ended a full day in Japan addressing business leaders and looking ahead to his high-stakes meeting later this week with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
It's a big meeting, and I think it's going to work out very well, actually. I think it's going to be great for everybody.
Before sitting down with the CEOs, the president signed an agreement to work with Japan to extract critical rare earth minerals, a resource China dominates, processing more than 90% of the world's supply. Bolstering the alliance with Japan, President Trump said Japan's order for F-35 missiles will be delivered soon, as he spoke to sailors and Marines aboard the USS George Washington.
And they're coming this week, so they're ahead of schedule. So I just want to tell Madam Prime Minister, they've been waiting for those missiles, and we got them here right away.
The president also forged a fast friendship with Japan's newly elected Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi.
Anything I can do to help Japan, we will be there. We are an ally at the strongest level.
During their visit, the Trump administration announced it would lower its tariff on Japanese goods to 15% and says Japan pledged to invest more than $500 billion in U.S. industry.
These deals are driven by the Japanese Strategic Investment Initiative, which was created by your tariff policy and by your historic trade agreement with Japan.
Japan's prime minister also announced a new gift of long-standing friendship and diplomacy between the two countries, 250 new cherry trees that will go to Washington, D.C. to honor America's 250th birthday next year. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.